What's up with y'all? What's going on? Can y'all hear me through the mic? Does it sound like my mic is on or no? Can you hear me through my mic? Does it sound like I have a mic on, or does it sound like it's not going through the mic? That's what I need to know right now. I need somebody to answer that for me, please. Somebody please answer that question for me. Can you hear me through the mic, or does it sound like I'm on a cell phone? Sounds like a microphone audio. Let's see what Nadia doing real fast for Carolyn come in. Wrong way. If you ain't got the mask, tap in best mask on the market. Yo.
What's poppin'?
Oh, okay, cool.
You can hear your mic.
All right, bet. What's up with you though? I seen you put that nice post up there today with the mask. Can you show us one and how it works?
Yo, this is gonna be a commercial. While you wait for Doctor, you're gonna have a show with Dr. Carolyn.
Yeah, let me see.
So if you guys haven't seen it, go to Rent a Runway. I just dropped our new visual for our mask. My mom came up with the concept. So these masks are super fire. I'm gonna put mine because I'm wearing all black today. Did you see this one, Jack? Oh, I can't hear you. Well, anyways, this is the mask, and you could drink your water because you can open it.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
But I said that joint got sparkles on it.
Oh, it's not sparkles, but sequins.
So can you
show
that part again?
You said what?
You show the part again where it kind of opens up.
Oh,
I want people to see that one more time because I think that's a beautiful thing that you got going on there with that, that opening like that. Okay, so boom, you just bring that joint open like that.
And you just open it, and then you could just drink your water or smoke, whatever you do.
Smoke what?
I don't know. Over there. So what you do is you do this.
That's tough.
Let me make sure the branding's in there.
Oh my God, you got the branding on there. Sheesh. Dobbs is that Bob or who is that? Dobbs 1422. Is that Carolyn? Are you on Bob's line right now? Ivory Lotta, what up? One of the greatest hoopers to ever do it. So Nadia, how much do those masks retail for?
$20. You could go to Rent a Runway.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And get yourself one. We just dropped the sports. Oh, you know what? I'll show you this one because I know there's.
Let me see this. Let me see the sports joint. Let me see what you got going on.
Check this one out.
Oh, you got the Laker vibes. That's tough.
Laker vibes.
We gotta send that to one of the players to rock to the game. Send me one or I'll send you an Addy to get it to maybe give it to Quinn or somebody. You know what I'm saying? Rock that shit.
You know what? It's so funny because I just checked. His never got there. The other ones that we did.
Oh, it never got there?
Nope.
Got the Cowboys. And what you got on right now? I know y'all make the clothing too. Can I see? I ain't trying to, you my sister, so I ain't trying to see the body, but I just want to see like what you got on. You know what I'm saying? I know you got the store.
Anybody from Texas?
You got the Texans. Anybody from Texas? Shout out my man Draper, just pulled up. Shout out to Texas. Let's see what you. Okay, let me see what you got. What you got on today?
So today we got some like different vibes. We got
nice vibes. Got the cakes out. See?
There's no cakes out. What are you talking about?
The cakes, the butt. That's what we call them, cakes.
Jack,
got the boots on. Nice.
What you're talking about. I said they ain't out. I said, it's so funny you say that. I was looking at pictures when we went to Costa Rica with the fam.
Yeah.
And if people are on here, I am Jermaine's sister. So we went to Costa Rica, and every day I was trying to take a picture of my fit or my bathing suit, and Jack would just come right behind and be like, there she goes again.
Got the cake. I mean, shit, you can't hide it.
I was like, yo, can I live?
Hey, Dr. Carolyn, if you're on here, please raise your hand. I don't know whose line she's on. I don't see you. But continue. What were you saying, Nadia?
Actually, that's what I was going to ask you. Who are you? What are you guys talking about as far as with Dr.
We'll
Carolyn?
talk about the vaccine. Talk about right formulas to put in the body during this time. Her
That's
thoughts
good.
on it. Just a ton of stuff. You know, who knows where the conversation is going to go? It's all about the flow. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to let it ride and see what happens.
As you
she
should.
might be on as
Bob.
I'm gonna hop. Yeah, I think she's on as Bob. So stay tuned in. I'll bring you back in after if you start the story. All right, Nadia. Let's see. Maybe she's on as 1442. Let's see if Dr. Carolyn is on. Oh yeah. There you go. It's sideways.
Yeah, oh, do you want me to be okay? Yeah, you're sideways.
I'm sideways.
You're sideways. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you're right. There you go.
I was doing the sideways because I wanted to.
Oh, the long ways. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I wanted to put my orchid in the frame. It's just not gonna
shit.
happen.
Put it on your face. Put it like over top of your. Oh, it won't even fit if you put it on top of your head either. But it's all. Hey, there you go. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much. You know, for coming on the show. You know, you're one of the top doctors in the world, homeopathic doctor, all of the above. You specialize in homeopathic. And it's just like one of those things where I know you have a ton of stuff going on, especially with COVID, especially with everything going on. So I just want to say, first of all, thank you for coming on the show. And like, how do you start your day, you know, being a doctor, seeing everything that's happening in the news, having your own warehouse, having tons of people working for you? How do you start your day? Is it a ton of emails? Is it you start with your formulas? How does your day start? How does the day of a doctor start?
I walk to the beach. That's how I start my day.
Okay, so you walk to the beach. So do you do certain things?
Well, Jack, you know, it's like I got it figured out. You know, you get good people around you to do what needs to be done, and you trust them, and you support them, and you reward them. That's my model that I guess, stumbled into.
Got it.
Yeah, it's working for me. And, you know, the whole thing about me being in dietary supplements and being a medical doctor and a naturopath, I want people to do things naturally. You know, we're at a very strange stage with allopathic medicine and drug companies, FDA, that we can't even tell you how much.
You can't tell me.
Yeah, we can't tell you how much dietary supplements will help you. And, you know, they're not, the public isn't being made aware that, you know, vitamin D is really helpful for the immune system, vitamin C, magnesium, selenium. There are all kinds of things you could be doing, but we keep getting the message that, you know, we got to wear masks and for the rest of our lives.
What exactly does because you know you see products and it says dietary supplement, and then when you see it, it's like, wait, what is it? Like a diet? What exactly what is the definition of dietary supplement?
Well, I guess it's like it sounds. You know, the diet isn't enough, so you need to supplement the diet.
Got it.
And you know, that's all it means. But I call my formulas completement formulas. They complete the diet. And everybody's noticed these past few years, oh, you got to eat better. Here's some good food. Here's some superfoods, and you can get all you need in your foods. Well, you can't. You just can't anymore because the soil has been depleted. There's nothing left in it. So you have to supplement. And then you got to figure, well, what's a good supplement? Because you get so much hype. I've been, you know, because of Super Bowl coming up, I've been looking at, what's the guy's name? Is it Brady? Tom Brady?
Yeah, Tom Brady, yep.
I mean, that guy is amazing. He's been playing for 21 years.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Apparently, you know, whatever, I guess he's a quarterback, and their quarterback average is like 3 to 4 years. 21 years. Now they say, he snaps quick, and he stays out of the way. He doesn't get hit that much. But he's got a dietary supplement company.
Yeah.
And
Oh, he does. He has his own dietary. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he's in that game. But the thing of it is, it looks like it's, I guess he's a vegetarian. It's all plant-based. It's all herbs. I looked through it just the other day because I want to make a comment on my radio show on Monday. And they're not organic. I was into herbs. I was using homeopathic herbal injections on people in Manhattan, actually, in an AIDS study in the early 1990s. And when I looked at, where we get them and everything, you can't trust anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You can't trust, especially if it's not organic. You don't know what's in that stuff. So anyway,
yeah,
I put herbs aside. Although, what I say about Tom Brady stuff, I'm sure he's doing a good, he's following FDA guidelines and everything's clean and all the rest of it. And I'm sure, people who have a bad diet, they're overweight, they're lethargic, if they look at Tom Brady and think, wow, that's my hero, that's my role model, I'm going to,
sure.
I'm going to get some exercise, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to take his expensive supplements. They're going to feel better. They really are. So I'm always sort of researching and looking at other companies. And what I decided to do was create natural organic supplements that are absorbed.
Yeah.
Because the thing of it is, if you have a supplement and you take it, you want it to do something. It's not just, well, I'm taking my supplements, and you don't know what's happening because there's not enough research about this stuff. I have to, put my money on the line and put it into university research to check out my absorption of my products. But that's not being done. So,
but speaking of that, sorry to cut you off. I want to talk about that because, it's almost like, a lot of times I have guys on here and we talk about business and stuff like that. And it's like one of the biggest things that people talk about is doubling down on themselves and investing in themselves. So what you did was you invested in a study about your magnesium product, correct? To see the absorption level of the magnesium in the body. And it was at Purdue University, and they did a test. And tell us about the effects what are the results that the test came with? What happened? What happened after you got the test done about the absorption level of your magnesium?
Right. Well, first of all, our magnesium is a stabilized ion of magnesium. And I call it picometer size, which means really tiny. I wanted to stay away from nanometer. It's near nanometer, but nano technology has a weird, vibe right now because they think, we're putting nanobots into our bodies. But anyway, the company, you're coming closer to me. Jump in. Look at you.
I'll fix the camera. Hold on.
Oh no, over there.
Okay.
Over there.
Yeah, we good. There we go. Yep.
So, first of all, we had to prove to these university people, what I was saying about picometer size. They said, well, stabilized ion. Nobody's ever done that before. That's not possible. So they got some, I should have memorized the name again, but some laser apparatus where they shoot light through liquids to see how much solid particles are in the liquids. And with Remag, because it's just this, infinitesimally small ions, they shot the light through and the light did not bounce off anything. There's nothing solid in this stuff. And, when you taste it, as you know, it's strong shit, it's got
the strongest shit ever. But you know what's funny? So, I always juxtapose my position on when it's strong and be like, you know what? This shit is really keeping me healthy. So it's like, I'll sacrifice that little bit of taste to know that I'm going to be super healthy. I mean, you feel a kick and effect right away when you're taking the magnesium. Well, all your products. we'll get into more of the products. But yeah, so I didn't mean to cut you off, but I got a lot of questions. Go ahead. Yeah, so go about the study. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So the study, first of all, I mean, they did this laser test, and of course, you know, the chief guy had the whatever college student, the PhD student, do the testing with the machine, and he didn't believe it. So he said, "Well, do it." He didn't believe it. So he went and did it himself, and he said, "Oh my God, they've got something." And then when they did giving it to humans, we didn't do animal studies. We just went to the humans and measured the magnesium levels before you take a drink of your Remag, and the other, you know, we also did a drink of placebo and compared them. And within 2 hours, the blood levels of an ionized magnesium in the blood was elevated, and they've never seen anything that fast in their testing. So, you know, we've got something pretty hot, and we know it works. I mean, people know it works, but people don't trust testimonials anymore. I mean, people will say, "Oh, you're faking it. It's all lies." So, you know, we do the studies, and it's fun for us too, because it's like, wow, you know, we're excited.
And you're selling the shit out. It doesn't, for you, it's like, you don't have to believe the testimonial, because I mean, I know your shit's selling through the roof. I try to get the Remag lotion. I mean, when can you have the Remag? We're talking about everybody. The Remag is her magnesium product. Probably the best product I take every day. I've took it for the last 4 years. Me and my girlfriend, Jermaine Renner, who's on here now, I've taken it for the last 4 years. And I mean, it's done wonders for us dealing with, you know, all types of stuff. But then you think about your other products. And I want to kind of get into, like, asking you a couple questions on your product line, right? You know, I was reading something the other day, and I heard you earlier talk about vitamin D, right? And, you know, we spoke about it, and I was reading something, and tell me if I'm right or wrong with this. It said it's a fact that African Americans have higher incidence of mortality from health-related problems than European Americans based on the melanin in their skin with vitamin D, because we don't really get the vitamin D as we should organically or naturally in our body. So is that a fact, or is that just something I'm reading where it's not true? Like, can you explain that? You know, because I feel like I don't know if I'm lacking vitamin D, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know if they're lacking anything. So tell me about vitamin D and how, you know, melanin may block that vitamin D level from getting into the body.
Right. Okay. So the study's real. It's a true study. And see what happened wherever humans came from, they had to live first in a warm enough environment where they didn't really need to do much, but just, you know, have the sun and grass, and maybe actually be near oceans so they could at least get fish, you know, whatever happened. So we know that humans began around the equator. And when the sun is beating down on you, your skin will darken in order to protect, you know, eventually protect you from burning yourself, you know, to death, because that can happen. You can dehydrate so much. So you have to have the dark skin to protect yourself from the sun. But what the sun does is it activates receptors in your skin that then go on through the liver and various tissues in the body to produce vitamin D. Mm-hmm. And so what happens with people when they are in northern climates, they're not getting the sun they used to, because you would get your vitamin D through dark skin because you were out in the sun all day long.
Okay, right? Got it. Yeah.
And you know that if you know, going over to COVID, if you look at the statistics of South Africa, for example, there's less COVID. And is that because there's more sun, more vitamin D?
Oh, so they're getting the vitamin D naturally already.
Or is the population younger? But, you know, there's so many variables. But there's certainly been a ton of studies about vitamin D and health that we can't ignore it. And there have been enough studies that show that African Americans do not get enough vitamin D, and they are suffering more from contracting COVID and dying from COVID. And that's the, that's the theory that we're going on in nutritional medicine, that why aren't we telling people to take more vitamin D? There are countries where they eat a lot of fish and get a lot of fish oil, which has vitamin D, and they supposedly have less COVID. But see,
so why do you think people don't get the knowledge, though? Is it because they don't want people to have the knowledge, or is it because they don't know about it? What is it? Or a little bit of both?
Well, what are we used to? The doctor is, the God, and the doctor knows your health better than you.
You do,
which isn't true anymore. So the doctor will pat you on the head and say, well, don't worry about it. We'll tell you everything. But then doctors got sidewinded by HMO, clinic medicine, where they were no longer their own boss. They had management teams that took care of them, told them they could only have 7 minutes of appointment time with their patients. Drug companies come in, and drug companies just tell the FDA told me with my company, they admonished me, told me I had to change my website, because some of our testimonials, people were saying, well, I had heart fibrillation and it's gone because of your REMAG. I had
wait, the FDA said, wait, you got to say that again. So you had testimonials on your website of people saying, hey, from taking this product, my migraine or whatever is taken away. Then the FDA reaches out to you and says, hey, you got to take that testimonial down.
Yeah. You cannot say that a dietary supplement is treating a disease. And these are their words, Jack. You can't say a dietary supplement is treating a disease, because only drugs treat and cure disease. That's what they say.
That shows you right there, it's a fucking big business. Because at the end of the day, why do they care about what? That's crazy. But continue. It's crazy to hear that, but it makes sense. So I guess I want to ask you about, you said the FDA hit you up. What are your thoughts on the vaccine as a whole? Because one of the biggest things that we talk often. I'm going to talk to your husband often on the show often. And, one of the things that you say as a doctor, you would never prescribe something that you wouldn't take. What are your thoughts? Right. What are your thoughts on the vaccine?
Well, I start with studies that are done on vaccine efficacy. Does it work? And there's a organization that apparently is not affiliated with drug companies. It's called the Cochrane, Cochrane Institute. And they did this study where they looked at 57, small studies looking at whether or not the vaccine worked. And in their own words, on their website, to this day, it says the influenza vaccine only works 2% of the time. 2%. And two. And these are vaccines, they've been around forever. They've had decades to perfect them. They still haven't figured it out. Yeah. So I take that information over to COVID and say, well, how on earth are they able to say that they've got some, 60, 70, 80, 90% effectiveness of a vaccine that they've only made in less than a year?
Yeah, so that's a question. Shout out Quinn Cook. My brother Quinn Cook is on the line, Laker player. Family to me, Carolyn. He's a big fan of you also. So I got a question. So I know what you talk about when you're coming out with new products and more things. A product has to have a shelf life for a certain period of time. Like when you come out with a product, doesn't it have to sit on the shelf for maybe like a year, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months just to see what the product does by itself without anyone taking it? Like, is there a process where you come up with a product, you're a true doctor, you have your own products. Do you have a test that you come out with Pico Potassium, new potassium product? how long do you keep that on the shelf until you actually give it to someone? Because you want to see what happens by itself. Is there a process or a time limit that you put on that?
Yeah, there are actually, you can do, there's a word for it, but you can speed up the time test, the shelf testing. You can put it in certain environments, you modulate the heat, the humidity, and all that, so that you can say, well, this 1 month is equivalent to 6 months. We do that for FDA compliant. With drugs, what happens there is they go by their studies, and they study something usually for 6 to 8 weeks. And then they stop it and say, well, this is what it did, let's throw it out there. And then they depend on what's called post-marketing surveillance, where they then gather data on, who falls over dead or the side effects. They seriously do that. Yeah. Now, they do these the testing, the studies are actually $1 billion. And actually, sidebar about dietary supplements, the FDA said to me, if you're going to say your EMAG treats heart disease, you have to do the $1 billion study and prove that. That's
no, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
I mean, well, Bob's a trillionaire, so if you needed to do the billion, you could do it. But I mean, we you know what I'm saying? If you need to, but it's crazy that the FDA puts pressure on you. It's like it's not like you're at retail. It's not like you're at all these stores. You're direct B2C business. I'm sure you have some other distributors for your stuff, but it's like, it shows the fact that the FDA tries to control this environment of like medicine, right? And it's like, that leads me on to my next thing, because I know with stuff in China, it's a lot of medicine and things like that aren't getting here, right? Like, what are your thoughts on like the products and the pharmaceutical business getting to the United States? Like, is it even coming like the way it is, or like it used to? Like, what's that look like?
Well, look what happened with the whole exposure of China, about the Wuhan virus. And it turns out that 90 or 98% of drugs come from China.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. So 98% of all the drugs come from China.
Are made in China.
Are made in China.
Cheap.
Because it's cheap to make.
Cheap.
Yeah.
So we can't trust, how can we trust that? Exactly. When you read, like I subscribe to a lot of online medical journals, and you're constantly reading, this drug got recalled, that drug got recalled. They try to go over to these pharmaceutical companies and inspect them, and they fail all the inspections. So, I mean, that's another reason for people to stay healthy and take their formulas, my formulas, so that you stay healthy, because you don't want to be in a hospital. You don't want to be, on your whole list of drugs. That's not what we were meant to do. But that, we started this discussion about how medicine is controlled by HMOs and management and drug reps coming in and telling you, well, this is the latest right now. And, we've probably talked about this before. I mean, it's an ongoing conversation, but now they have these drugs called biologicals, and I haven't even got a clue what they mean. I just did 50 hours of online, continuing medical education credits for my California license. I don't practice there, but I want to keep up on what's happening. It's all about biologicals. I cannot imagine how doctors are learning this stuff and understanding it. It's just become like a recipe medicine. You get a person with a bad disease, here's 10 biologicals, pick one. And then you give it to someone, and see what happens with drugs. Or anything that's a shock to the body. The body will get all shaken up and it'll shift. And in the shifting, it may drop a symptom and you actually may feel better. but that's because the body is feeling that it's under mortal attack, and it just revs up everything, and you may feel better for time. I mean, seriously, this is how drugs work. This is how extreme exercise works, or extreme things like people taking ice baths or heat, extreme heat sauna therapies. The body thinks, man, I am about to die. I'm going to throw out my, adrenaline, my growth factor, anything that'll help me. So, and what do the researchers do? They said, oh my gosh, they produce more growth factor. That's a plus. Oh, they produced all these really great things. This stuff is really working. You know what I'm saying? It's like their premise is all, just so thrown off by these extreme procedures.
For sure. So I guess my next question to you is, how long have you been practicing medicine, and what made you jump into, wanting to be a doctor? Like, was it because you wanted to save lives? Was it because you want to save your own life and understand everything? Because I know your husband just turned 99 and the fucker looks like he's 45. So
that's what he says. That's what he says. We won't go there.
Okay.
I come from, kind of genetics and a family history of my mom was a nurse.
Yeah.
My dad's grandmother was a nurse and a homeopath.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had that common sense, and I grew up in an environment where, people would come to my mom and she wouldn't talk about drugs or tell people go to a doctor. She'd give them, home remedies or just common sense. So I grew up in that environment, and I got very interested in health in my teens, probably because, my older sister had allergies. My dad had allergies. I began to just question things. Mm-hmm. So I started reading about health when Bob and I, when in our teens, when we traveled to California, that was during the health revolution, the beginning of it. So I read whatever I could about health. So I began to tell people, well, you should do this, you should do that, take this, they wouldn't listen to me. And
of course they wouldn't listen to you. It's not the normal. They don't listen to what they don't. Right. Like you always say, people don't know what they like what they know. If they don't know it, they're not going to listen. Right.
Yeah. So I was in university, and I probably said this on a previous show. I was in honors biology, and in one of my classes, a couple of guys said, hey, we just got accepted into med school. Did you get your letter yet? And I was freaked out because these were just little, punks. And I said, you're going to be doctors. Man, I can do better than that. So I went to the dean's office of the med school, to see about an application. And I met my high school guidance counselor there, Miss Elliott. I said, Miss Elliott, you told me I should be an executive secretary or a nurse. Yeah. I said, you got some splaining to do. So anyway, I got into medicine the next semester because I had all the prerequisites. I mean, my life has just been flowing. And so I got into medicine, and, that was a bummer. It's just there's so much
extra,
so much negativity.
Soul
destroying. That's what I say. It's soul destroying, and hardly anything positive about it. And so during my internship, I studied naturopathic medicine because I always kept reading about natural medicine. So I knew before med school I wanted to do nutritional medicine. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you this, right? So the next question is, whenever I have any inkling of anything, like I call you right away, or I text you like, hey, Carolyn, hey, this, but it seems like you always have the answer, but it's always like, you're like a human encyclopedia. And I know you wrote tons of books and you read tons of books. Like, where do you get that inspiration to like gain this knowledge, to be reading writing and doing all these things of this information? Like, would you say this is something that you're born with, or is it just something that you just have a knack for wanting to know more?
Right. Yeah, I've always been inquisitive. I've always been a reader. And so the reading and then the writing just took over. And it's a knowing. I mean, the book of Revelation, the keys and airs that we look at to sort of guide how we control our world. Well, the key 13 is knowing the known and know the knowing. And what you do there is like when you get an insight or when you really know something, you don't question yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people, that can't be true. You say, oh, okay, there's a knowing, there's a truth. You may go and check it out and confirm it, but after a while, you just know when you get a thought. And I used to just think it was common sense. And a lot of people comment that, I talk common sense. And like I said earlier, I think I got that from my mom.
Yeah.
And so it's common sense and just knowing. And a lot of the new age, hoo-ha stuff talks about, you have all the information in your brain, you just have to access it. I think that's true. I think we do know, but we can't be ego about it and, just think that we have all the facts. And we know we know as much as we don't know, for example.
Exactly.
So there's always going to be that balance. So you trust your knowing, you trust your common sense. And yes, I've always been inquisitive, and I love putting together pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And I think, the blessing for me was when in New York, after the AIDS study, I was writing and I started to get on Manhattan TV, and then I was asked to write a book on magnesium. So for me, that was a huge breakthrough. I think it was 1999, I was asked to write the book. So I did the book, and I realized I was very magnesium deficient. And what I tell people about magnesium is that it is responsible for 80% of known metabolic functions, and it drives 1,000 different enzymatic processes in the body. So it's huge.
Jeez.
So here,
and you don't get that from anything. You don't get magnesium from food anymore. Like there's no. What would be the main source if I didn't know you and I didn't know about your products? What would you say is the main food or thing I can eat to get magnesium? Is there anything out there to get it? Like, what would you say?
Seaweed.
Got it. That's seaweed. Okay.
Nuts and seeds, deep green leafy vegetables, and whole grains.
Got it.
So, I mean, look at those things. Nobody's eating seaweed.
Yeah. I eat seaweed chips.
Nuts and seeds, yeah, they're great, but people especially will avoid them because they think they're fattening, maybe. Deep green leafy vegetables, nobody's really eating a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And the new diets like ketogenic, paleo, carnivore diet, they're not eating any of those carbs. They're not getting their fiber, they're not getting their nutrients from the greens. And whole grains, oh my gosh, everybody thinks gluten grains are evil.
Yeah.
So our diets have changed, as well as, like I said earlier, the soil is depleted. I mean, I support a farm up country here in Maui. And when I first got involved with them, I started getting a lot of their vegetables and fruits. And I thought, okay, I'll once again try a vegan diet. Now, it never worked for me before. I didn't have the energy or anything. So I tried this vegan diet. I'd put things on collard leaves. And I mean, it was crazy and it was fun, but I didn't feel good. You know, I did not feel good. I didn't have
It's
the
just
energy.
a business ploy, you think? Is it a business ploy? Like, you know, he's like keto, you know, get this. Like, at the end of the day, you see every day there's like, oh, this is the new diet to take. Do this and you'll feel better here. But as a doctor, when you see these commercials or you see these advertisements, do you look at it like, man, do these people really know that they're not getting everything that they need in their body? Like, what are your thoughts on like what we see in the media? Because I feel like in the media, they make it seem like everything's okay. You know, there's a certain amount of this or a certain amount of that. Like, what are your thoughts on like, is it just a business ploy to make money when they come out with keto diets and becoming a vegan? And it like, is there any, does it actually help the body, or is it more of like a business ploy to make money?
Yeah. Okay. It's true. All what you said. So here are the layers of it. Diet books are the best-selling books on the market.
Oh, really?
People love diet books. They love hearing about
everybody's
someone's
fat.
experience.
No, nothing against fat people, but everybody's overweight and unhealthy, so they want to be
Oh, the fat diet. Yeah. So people will have a personal experience, and then they'll put it in their book and act like whatever happened to me can happen to you. Now that's not true, right? That's just not true. So you get pulled into this story, and okay, I'm going to try this, and it doesn't work. So there's the fad diet books that are promoted, like you say, big business. Now, when you look at like a vegetarian vegan diet, Jack, did you know that only 4% of Americans are vegan or vegetarian? 4%.
4%?
Yeah.
They make it seem like fucking everybody and their mama is fucking vegan on diet. It's 4% of America is on vegan.
4%.
Yeah.
So exactly. So they market it as if you will die if you don't eat a vegan diet. So that somehow they've taken over the commercial world, the marketing world, and the, you know, non-gluten world even, because this is where the commercialization comes in, because you look at the shelves and it's all gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian.
I'm not gonna lie. When I see gluten-free, or if I see something, I'm like, if I'm at a restaurant, it's crazy that you said that, because like, if I'm at a restaurant, I'm like, you know what? Oh, that's gluten-free chicken. Let me get the gluten-free chicken. Like, whole time it's like, this shit don't mean nothing. But it's funny when you see that, automatically you're like, okay, this is healthy for me. Let me get the gluten-free, or let me get the fat-free, or let me get the organic, whatever. But it's like, there's no, like you just said, there's no nutritional value in the food anymore. But it's like, nobody's coming out saying that. It's just like, that's what I mean. It's just a big business to kind of keep this stuff going, to get people to want to buy, you know, meal packages, to get people to want to get on keto, whatever it is. It's like, and it's doing a disservice to the people. And like, there's much more unhealthy people right now these days. And like you said, people are dying every day from this disease. And what you said is because, you know, people think that, you know, what they see on TV is what is, but it ain't. It ain't really what it is. You know what I mean? Talk about that.
Right. Well, I got to talk about the keto diet, but a sidebar first is about, you know, the promotion of things that make you think they're healthy. When you look at diet products, for example, you know, diet sodas, I mean, there's a million diet products, and that's a chemical called aspartame that in the it's got 2 amino acids. One of them is phenylalanine, which is really harsh on the brain, and the other is something that breaks down into methanol. I mean, methanol is a killer. It's the alcohol that people, when they do home brews, you'll hear that the homebrew killed them because it turned into methanol, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So you've got this serious chemical in a diet product, and people look at diet and think, that's something that I'm going to get healthy with.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh my gosh. And, you know, I I'll read, just articles or novels or whatever, and everybody's grabbing a diet soda, and it's just criminal. So you've got the whole marketing of the diet world. Keto. I mean, gosh, keto, I knew about it, decades ago, because it's good for the brain of people who have kids, especially who have certain genetic problems. Anyway, keto got real popular just the past 7-8 years. And I even got pulled into it a bit with one of my books, and I talked about weight loss, but I said, on a keto diet, you're still not getting your minerals. You're still not getting your fiber. If you're going to do keto or intermittent fasting, you have to get your nutrients. And again, you look at, I go on Amazon, to shop for different things. Everything is keto now. It is incredible how that industry just blew right up. And yes, it's all commercialized, and you're still not getting your nutrients, but you're made to think that, you're on the cutting edge, you're into the new thing.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah, the new sexy on the block. It's just incredible.
So, okay, have you ever tried any of like these things, like a keto diet or like going vegan, like? Cause you tried all. You've done it all. Tried it all.
Yeah.
And then the what has been the conclusion of all of these different things you've been trying? What has been the conclusion?
Well, see, I'm no longer an average specimen, because I'll tell you, Jack, since I've been taking my own supplements and my Restructure protein powder, I eat like, a meal and a half a day. Seriously.
You don't need much. Yeah.
I don't need food. Yeah. And that's crazy. I look at myself all the time, and how can I be surviving on, okay, what do I do? I'll maybe have a small mango and a couple of slices of a hard cheese in maybe around noon. I'll do the intermittent fasting. I'm not hungry until noon. But in the morning, I wake up and I'll drink, maybe this much water and another amount of water with my minerals in it, and my vitamin C berry powder, which makes
I love that. Okay, let me talk about the vitamin C berry powder. Yeah, I love the vitamin C. I drink it like 3 times a day. Is that like too much? Like I'll just, if I'm drinking water, I'll be like, let me throw some vitamin C and I give it some flavor. Is that bad? I drink that shit a lot.
That's good shit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're not getting enough vitamin C.
Okay. Good. I drink that a lot.
I've got my liquids going, my bowels react. I go to the bathroom because I'm putting all this liquid in, and then I'll go for my walk, hour and a half, 2 hours walk, come home. I'll do a half hour of yoga and then 15 minutes of, hard aerobics. And then I go to work, on my computer for a few hours, and then I will take, maybe back up a little bit. Yeah, after my exercise, I'll take a tablespoon of a psyllium seed powder, real fine psyllium seed, for my fiber.
Yeah, you never told me about this one, Carolyn. Psyllium seed. I need that one. You did. I've never heard this. This is breaking news, everyone. I've never heard about this psyllium seed. I didn't even know that was a word. Okay, offline, or you can say it online. Well, I need access to this psyllium seed shit. I want all the shit that helps my body. So the psyllium seed, we're noting that right now. I need access because you said you take a little bit of psyllium seed. So what is a psyllium seed and what is psyllium? What the hell is a psyllium?
Have you ever heard of Metamucil?
I've heard the word, but I don't know what it is.
It's a fiber laxative.
Okay.
Right? So that is psyllium seed that's processed, and they probably put sugar and crap in it.
Okay.
A lot of people take Metamucil for either constipation or diarrhea. It just gives you fiber. But I tell people, don't get the processed stuff. Just buy straight psyllium seed, the fine powder. It'll be called husks, which is sort of more of, it's not as fine. It's husks. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
And the fine powder. So the thing about this, Jack, this is the mistake you will make. You will put a teaspoon or a tablespoon in water and then stir it up and go over and talk to Jermaine and then come back to it. It will be a jelly by the time you get back.
Oh, so you have to drink it right away.
Right away. Okay, so put that in your mind. So
I will.
What I do.
Although I do like Jell-O. I was a big Jell-O fan. I like Jell-O.
I think Bob eating his psyllium seed gel. So what I do is I put, my tablespoon in, and then I pour in a couple ounces of water. Actually, I'm using my berry juice water to give it some taste.
Yeah.
So it's just a few ounces. I'm not going to swallow that much of fiber stuff. So it's only about 4 ounces. And then I drink it real quick. And then I pour in a little bit more water or berry drink and shake it up and swallow it. So that makes me think that I've gotten something, there's something in my stomach. So I really am not hungry until around noon.
Got it.
So then I'll have my couple slices of cheese and my mango, or I'll do a toasted cheese on a grain bread, homemade, non-gluten.
Non-gluten, yeah.
Seed
non-gluten.
bread. And then I'll go until 4 or 5 o'clock, because I try not to eat after 7. So I'll go.
Why is that? Why? Are you trying to keep your body sexy? You don't eat after 7, or is this more like the body doesn't digest things after? Like, why don't you eat after 7?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to go to bed and be burping or be, having
farting
my
and shit like that.
So,
yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that. Okay, I got it. Makes sense.
So, but my supper is crazy. What I've been doing for, many months now, maybe even a year, is I'll do a berry restructure heavy whipping cream.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I love that.
What I've got is frozen. Yeah. Oh yeah, you've had it.
You made it for us. You made it for me and G.
Yeah. It's frozen blueberries, cut up strawberries, cut up cherries. Sometimes I have frozen mango, and it's just all chopped up, but not in a blender, because that will make it too liquidy.
Oh.
And then I'll take, maybe a scoop, even a scoop and a half of Restructure, which is our awesome protein powder.
I love Restructure. Hey, if anybody's on here, you hear her say Restructure. Restructure is a protein powder, vanilla flavor. I take the shit every day. It's the most beautiful protein powder that you can ever take in your life. And I'm not here trying to upsell this protein powder, but I take this shit every day. It's the best tasting, and I love it. www.rnareset.com. Get the Restructure. I guarantee if you go there right now and get the Restructure, you're going to be like, holy shit, this shit tastes so good, and your body is going to feel so much better after. Like, okay, but anyway, keep going. Sorry to cut you off. I love the Restructure. I had to shout that out. I had to.
Thank you. And yeah, it's my protein. Seriously, cheese and Restructure.
Wait, come on. Not to cut you off, Carolyn. How does it feel to have your own protein powder? Like, yo, you got like your own you got your own magnesium, you got your own vitamin D, you got your own pico potassium, you got your own Realign. How does it feel being a woman in the industry? Because at the end of the day, when you think about the medical industry, you don't really see who's the face of it, but like, there's not too many women in the world that, got some wine. We have to get spicy right now. I'm going to get you with the real questions, right? How does it feel being a woman in a space that's usually in medicine, it's predominantly like a man Darnell Jackson, what's up, my brother? Shout out Darnell Jackson. I play with him at Reno. Great guy, NBA guy. Keep doing what you're doing. So how does it feel being in an industry of medicine? You're a doctor. You got levels of doctrine. And how does it feel being a boss in this space and you're a woman? You got the FDA telling you, hey, you got to take that shit down. Does that like make you feel good? Keep it real. You're like, yeah, fuck you, FDA. Like, what does it feel like being a woman in this industry, having your own site, having your own products? Tell me that feeling, because I want more women to be inspired to say, look, you can be whatever you want to be. And like, you inspire me. I look at you and the things you're doing. It's like, you inspire me and Jermaine like every day. Like, man, look at this big ass boss. You're not big, you're little as shit. But look at this boss. Look at this boss destroying the market, having the FDA send you emails saying, hey, you got to take this down. How does that make you feel? Tell me about that.
They think I'm trouble. I don't know, Jack. I guess I've always felt that when I was in my teens, I was waiting for the great work. Seriously.
What does that mean, the great work? What is the great work?
I'm looking for the great work. I didn't know what it was. I wanted to do something great. I always thought that. And I was always blessed with, having some brains and having some common sense and just being in positions where, I was able to excel and without too much, angst. I was very blessed. So, I probably grew up in a stable environment compared to a lot of people. My mom didn't work, my dad worked. And so anyway, I was blessed. I always thought I want to do the great work. And finally, when I got into medicine, I thought, okay, this is it. And then not so much. And I wanted more. And that's the thing. Happy where I am, but ready for
wanting more. 100%.
So I came across the health freedom movement, for example, back in like 2004. What the hell is that?
Yeah. Health freedom? What does that mean? What is that? What is that?
That's a movement where people want to have choice in healthcare, not just drugs, but they wanted to have supplements. I mean, that's the basics of it. And so I kind of joined forces with some people. We lobbied Washington and Ottawa and got to hear, face to face with the top aides of the various senators that we thought would be interested in supporting the health choices of nutritional medicine. And they said, no, we can't help you. The drug companies will go off, off out of the country to produce their products if we support alternative medicine. So he said, we can't do it. We're stuck. So it was right then where I started saying, oh my gosh, we're doomed. It's going to be drugs from now on. And as the drugs started to not work and people started to be worried about drugs, they said, okay, we're going to vaccinate everybody for everything.
Yeah.
And then the
I ain't taking that shit. Sorry to cut you off, but this vaccine shit, like, the people that are on here right now, like, I'm going to give you my own synopsis. I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything. I don't know shit about doctrine, if that is even the right word. But I'm going to tell you my 1, 2, 3 punch on the vaccine. And like I said, I'm not a doctor. Everybody on here, take this with a grain of salt. This is just my thoughts, right? Okay. COVID-19 came out, right? A vaccine came out for COVID-19. But then you look at the news and you say a new strand of COVID has entered somewhere. So if you just got vaccinated for COVID-19 and then COVID-20 or COVID-21 came, what is going to be the effect or the after effect of getting vaccinated for COVID-19? Do you need to get another vaccine for COVID-20, 21? What are your thoughts on the morphing? Because that's the thing. People are not talking about, like, everything's like COVID-19. That's like, what about the morphing of this fucking COVID? Because people are fucking stupid. They're going out. They're not listening to shit. They're not wearing masks. I'm going to ask you about the mask later. But, like, what about the morphing of this virus and people are getting vaccinated based on the 19 version when we're in 2021. We're probably at COVID 21 by now. Tell me about that, please.
Right. Okay. Basically, viruses morph. That's what they do.
They morph.
Every
100%.
virus morphs. And that's why they say the flu vaccine probably doesn't work, because by the time they make it and roll it out from last year's vaccine,
some new shit
there's
came
a new
out.
virus strain.
Yeah.
So all this, telling us there's all these new variants. I mean, so what else is new? That's a, medical fact. But they're scaring the population by saying, oh, there's this new strain. Oh, no, we're doomed. They have to stop that shit and just tell people to get healthy.
Oh, so you're saying it's not about the vaccine. It's more about just get healthy. You won't have to worry about the vaccine. You won't put yourself in a frequency where you're like, oh, I got to get this vaccine, because they don't promote like, hey, guys, just get your body healthy. You need vitamin D, pico zinc, potassium. But it's more like, make sure you get this shot, you get this vaccine, because it's going to protect you from this. But it's like, bro, you just shot me for COVID-19, and I just saw some shit that a new one is coming. You're going to just keep shooting shit in me until it gets to COVID-30, and I just got all this medicine in my body, and like I can't even fucking, I'm sitting there. Yeah. My headphones came off. Hold on. Like, it's, and like, I'm not trying to make fun of this, but it's like, it's almost like a joke, because you look at the news all day, but then you look at the news when they're like, okay, I saw one day they said, hey, you wear 4 masks, it's going to protect you 75%. It's like, but 4 weeks ago you said, make sure you wear your mask. There's nothing you could do, because like, but it almost seems like people are stuck on stupid and not listening to or not hearing what they heard before. It's like, you're going to sit here and tell me if I wear 3 masks, I'm 75% more protected. So that basically means 1 mask protects you 25%. Like, what does that even mean? It's a joke to me. And you're a doctor. I'm not trying to like put you out there and make you say things you don't want to say, but it's like, it seems very funny to me that it says, okay, if you wear 3 masks, you're 70% protected. So basically, if you break down the math, it's like 1 mask means you're 25% protected. Like, what are your thoughts on this mask thing? Like, is it?
Yeah. Well, I guess when a virus comes out of you, sneezing or coughing or, spitting, it's on a droplet of liquid. Mm-hmm. So the mask is supposed to stop the liquid which carries the virus. It's not that they're saying that this mask is going to stop those little bitty viruses, because they'll get through anything. So it's stopping the liquid droplets. Got it. If someone's infected, they should be wearing a mask. 100%. But it's gotten to the point where humans aren't being trusted, and maybe can we be trusted? Does someone know when they have a fever and a little bit of cough, they should have a mask? So it's almost like, when you said to your mother, I want to do this, and they say, well, you can't do it. Everybody else is doing it, Mom, I want to do this. And they say, no, you can't. What they want you to do with masks is, if everybody's doing it, then we think that we're protecting ourselves. It's probably not true, but it's like, this brainwashing about getting everybody to comply with something, just so, number one, makes it look like we're doing something, makes it look like we're trying to help other people. I mean, I don't wear a mask when I walk on my beach walk, but there are big signs now that say masks are required. So I read every word, huge sign. I read every word. It just says masks are required. It doesn't say you have to put them on your face.
It says masks are required. You can have it in your pocket.
Masks are required. So I have a mask in my pocket. Yeah. Because seriously, I'm walking on this, kind of broad sidewalk in front of the ocean, in front of the hotels, you know it. And I'm thinking, well, what? I'm going to go and spit in someone's face? Anyway. So I draw the line. But when I work at, the farm I support, I work on Tuesdays down in Wailea at the market, and I have a mask on. I mean, people are, close to me and everything, so I wear a mask. So I'm going to comply in areas where, people are feeling vulnerable. I mean, I have these little old ladies who are my age who come up to me and they're talking about, oh, I got my vaccine, as if that's going to protect them. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I hope you don't die, but I can't say that.
You can't say that. Yeah, but speaking of that, sorry to cut you off. I hate to cut you off, but when you say things, it triggers me. I've been seeing a lot of stuff in media, and like I said, we don't know if the shit that we're hearing in media is true, false, or indifferent, but it seems like a lot of the older people are having negative effects to taking this vaccine. Is that because older people are not as healthy and their immune system isn't as strong to kind of take on such a powerful thing? Well, like, why is that you see in the news, like a lady, 85 years old, even talk about Hank Aaron, rest in peace. They said before he died, he's a major baseball player. He took the vaccine, 2 weeks before he died. Like, what do you think that is? Is that the immune system of these people isn't strong enough? Or like, what is going on with that?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go next. Perfect. So it's the reason why people are getting COVID in the first place. We've reached the straw that breaks the camel's back. We have the perfect storm. 70% of the population, let's just say, in America, 70% are overweight.
Yep.
70% are on at least one medication.
Yep.
And 70% have comorbidities. So we
are. What? What's that last word you said?
The comorbidities.
Oh, you got to explain that to the. We got to explain that. That's a good word right there. Comorbidity.
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 So
got it.
Morbid, means
morbid.
Something horrible. Jeez. So they used to say cofactor diseases. So people who, and you'll hear that about COVID, the people who get COVID and do badly with it, they've got the obesity, the diabetes, the hypertension. So they'll list off a whole bunch of diseases, but Jack, they don't list off the drugs. But the drugs are also what's weakening the immune system. So 80% of the population is reacting with their weakened immune system to the virus and now to the vaccine. We have got a sick society. And once again, I say, why isn't the public health department or whatever, Health and Human Services, telling people to get healthy? Why isn't there a big exercise push? Why aren't they being told to take vitamin D and vitamin C and zinc and silver? Why?
Well, I was going to ask you. You're the doctor. I'm like, why? It's like, it almost comes to the point where it's like, do they want people to die off? Like, is there not too many people here? Like, I get it. You have to educate people, but like, okay, you guys, if you control the media, CBS, Fox, and all these, come on with a workout program. Like, let somebody wake up and say, hey, everybody, today we're going to do this workout program before we get to the real shit. Like, why don't we see that? You know what I mean? Because if I ran the news, if I was a media company, Fox, CBS, NBC, it's like, okay, before we get into the bullshit we about to tell you, today we're going to do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and we're going to drink a gallon of water. And we want everybody to do that. And then now we're going to get into the real news. Yeah. But you don't see that. All you see is, oh, this many people died or whatever. And then I want to ask you this. Is the media really telling us what's really happening? I know as a doctor, as a number one doctor, and that's not just in my eyes, you have tests proving that your shit is different. are they really telling us the amount of deaths? Like, if they say 100,000 deaths, would you say, and you don't have to say this because I know, you're not supposed to share this knowledge, but would you say that there's more deaths than what the news or media is telling us?
No, I think they're pushing the deaths. They'll try to push the number higher than it probably is, because at the same time as there's supposedly all these coronaviruses deaths, there's no flu deaths this year.
It's everything. So, everything is corona. It has to be COVID. It's not even like nothing else matters. True. Yeah.
Yeah. And you keep giving me these accolades. Thank you very much. But I'm also.
Hey, look, Carolyn. The only reason I'm giving you the accolades, and I don't just pump people up, right? I don't, and I'm not that type of person. I could give a fuck who you are or whatever. But it's like, you've accepted me and my girlfriend. You've exposed us to everything you're doing, and that's not the point. The point is you've exposed us, and the shit works. Like, it's not like you've invited us into your, like, the shit works. Yeah. I don't like. Yeah. For me, it's like I'm all about the shit that works. I've been on your products for 4 years, and I'll tell you right now, I don't have to pick up a basketball for 4 years. I could pick up a basketball tomorrow, and my DNA is ready to hoop at the ultimate level. And I want to get into the RNA drops. The RNA drops are made to perfect the DNA, to bring the DNA back to the perfect cell. I know this may sound crazy to people, but I don't give a fuck right now because I'm on this wine and I'm feeling good. It literally, I don't have to pick up a basketball for 4 years. I can pick a basketball up and play like I did 8 years ago because my DNA has went back to its perfect self. And what you say is all the time is that the body is changing every day. We talk about ascension all the time on Bob's show. We talk about ascension. We talk about these things. And it's like, people are so caught up in like, oh, let me take care of my health. And but it's like, you don't know that your body is already changing. Your body is trying to produce 144 double helix strand. Like, it's so many things happening, but it's like, I can truly say on your products, on the things that you do, it has changed my whole existence. Because I was in a bad place. I'm a guy that, my accolades are behind me. You can see, maybe you see my dad's accolades and my sister's accolades, but like, I was first team all ACC in basketball. I got drafted to the NBA. I did all the top things, and I didn't make the NBA. And that put a huge halt on my mental, a huge halt on like my belief in myself. It did so many things that make me feel like I was less than, or I wasn't worthy to get the things that I always dreamed of. And as soon as I got on your products, the restructure, the magnesium, the Pico Silver, the Pico Zinc, it really opened up something in my mental and my world that really exposed me to something that I didn't know exist. So I understand you're saying thank you for, putting you on, but like, this shit works. I'm not no fake ass motherfucker that's going to say, oh, this is family to me. You're like a family to me, like my aunt, but it's nothing to do with that. Like, the shit works. You know what I mean? And like, at the end of the day, I'm always about promoting and talking about shit that works because I care about people. I care about people and getting the information. That's what my business is about. That's what Active Dreamers is about. Giving people the information to allow them to dream bigger, to allow them to succeed. And I can truly say, your products allow me to succeed in life at every level.
Okay. I got an insight when you were going over your story.
Yeah.
You injured your knee. Was it your knee you injured?
Yeah, I hurt my knee. I had a microfracture on my knee. I mean, I had a lot of shit, but microfracture was the thing that I retired from basketball because I had a microfracture on my knee. Yep, that was the thing.
Okay, what the knee, I do a bit with total biology, the conflict basis of disease and disease symptoms.
Yep.
Well, the knee is when you kneel to someone, when you subjugate yourself to someone, when you genuflect, and your body said, okay, Jack, you are not going to kneel to whatever's going on with the NBA, all the bullshit, what they put you through. They put you through shit.
Oh my God, they put me through shit. Let me correct you. They put me through manure. They put me through a pile of shit. Yeah. But like you said, I'm not going to cut you off, but continue. The knee in total biology is what?
Yeah. So your knee reacted to the bullshit and said, you know, we're gonna focus, we're gonna mess up your knee so you realize that you are not going to bend your knee to this bullshit anymore, and you got out of it. So it's actually very positive. And I know you're at the stage where you know that your injury, you know, saved you, but that's exactly why it's so
it's
specific.
so crazy hearing that, because you know, a lot of times, you know, to all my athletic friends, athlete friends, like, you know, when you play the sport of basketball, you know, that's the shit you've been doing your whole entire life. You know, I played basketball since I was 5, 6 years old. That's all I knew. You know what I mean? And then you get to a point where it's like, why isn't this shit working out for me? Like you said, the signs are there for you to be like, you know what? Maybe you should step away from this because there may be something bigger, or there may be bigger things out there for you. But it's like, you look at it in a way where it's like, oh, a lot of guys look at, oh, I got hurt, I got to go back at it. All I know is basketball. All I know is this. But it's like, you're putting yourself in that same frequency of something that you already know isn't really working out for you. And the time that I really put 2 and 2 together, like, you know what? I keep getting hurt. Like, I'm not in the NBA. Let me step away from this. And the day that I stepped away from the ball and the sport was the day my life changed. And soon after is when I got introduced to, you know, you and Bob, and I started taking the products, and my life went to a whole different level. And I want to say, like, once again, I don't want to keep like tooting your horn and all that, because you don't like that. But like, I just want to say I'm super thankful for you, one, coming on to my show, you know, talking to me, because I'm sure people don't know who Carolyn, I mean, some people know who Carolyn Dean is, but the masses and the culture do not know who Carolyn Dean is. And there will be a day where Carolyn Dean will be like Tylenol, will be like, you know, any medicine that you've thought about. But it's like, I'm thankful that you're sharing your time with me on my platform, because I'm the person, I always say, I know who's going to be the next. And I know that Dr. Carolyn Dean will be the biggest doctor that the world has ever seen. And like, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm on your products. This shit fucking works. It saved my life. So, you know, before we get off, I just wanted to really give you your accolades, because not only are you a beautiful person, you're a woman in a space that's not really like women, there's not really a lot of women doctors that are really doing big things. I mean, you treat some of the most powerful people in the world. We're not going to get into the names of people like the Pope. Well, sorry. We're not going to get into the people. We're not going to get into the people that are on your products, because it's almost like, if you know, right? And like you see Jermaine, thank you, Dr. Carolyn. Like, anytime there's an issue, I mean, this is everybody, you can't get this access like me and my baby do, like Jermaine, but you have the answer. You know what I mean? Like, you know your power. You know you're a supreme being. You know you are a God. I'm not going to get into that because I want to make this. But it's one of those things where it's like, I just want to really give you your flowers right now. I mean, you're going to live forever, so whatever, it doesn't matter. But I have to pump you up, because this shit really works, and it's changed my whole entire existence, my mental, my physical, the way I look at life. Your husband, Bob, who's fucking crazy as shit, but he's the smartest man on the planet. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, you can't push aside the people that are really doing the real shit, because I think we live in a world now where the people that are really the ones doing it, you don't get it. You're not getting acknowledged, because people are stuck on stupid. You know, they want to hear the dumb shit. They want to hear about the doctor that came out with this thing that you put some shit in your ankle and it makes your butt and your titties big. People are more excited about that than the person that's saving lives. So I just want to say, Carolyn, thank you for being you and being like, not changing and trying to adhere to what everyone else should do. Because you're a woman in a space that, what other medical doctors, homeopathic doctors are there out there right now that you know in the media, or that you know that are doing the things that you're doing? I mean, you're treating the most powerful people in the fucking world. And I know you can't talk about it. You don't need to talk about it because you're fucking selling out. You got to okay. Actually, I got a question for you. Last time we talked, you showed me the mountain. You showed me the warehouse that you have. You know, you got over 20,000 workers. Whatever. I don't know. I'm probably maybe 5,000, whatever. But you told me, hey, you bought the lot across the street. And in my mind, it's like, damn, she really has one lot here, certain square foot, and you bought the lot across the street. There's not too many women in this space that are buying lots and building more shit. Where do you get this boss mentality from, and what can you tell other women that want to be their own boss? Like, where do you get the confidence from? What is it? What makes you want to keep going?
It's fun. It really is fun. And, you know, there's a certain power in having the money to do what you want to do. And, but even before, I mean, even without money, I would just say, well, this is what I want to do, or want to be, or want to buy, or whatever. And it'll work out. I mean, there's so many layers to that, because with where my 30,000 square foot warehouse was, across the street and a little up the way, some crazy people had built a 90,000 square foot. Just
they tried to they tried to fuck with you. They said, "Oh, we got 30. I'm getting 90."
And I said, you know, what if they buy the lot across from me and do that shit? Because I have a beautiful building, and I just said, I got to have that lot. I got to protect my space. You know, I've got to, you know, be in charge of my whole world. And you can say that in your mind.
Hold on, wait. Being in charge of your whole world, okay?
Yeah.
Now we get into the after hours. You know, I know you got something to do. I know you're probably doing another diagnostics of a new potion complement formula come up. But I want to talk to you about the term, you know, taking control of your own world, right? We live in a society where humans dictate their world to be predicated off what they see in someone else. Either it's the president, either it's their friends or family, either it's people that are successful before him.
Right.
How do you dictate, and how do you know, like, you're in control of your world? You're in control of everything you see, everything you do, and everything you want. Where does that power, that energy come from?
Right. Well, it probably has something to do with Bob, because he's
Shout out Bob Dobbs, the most craziest man in the world. We'll see him next Friday, but okay, I'm listening.
Well, I mean, he's a detached person. You know, he doesn't get involved, but I mean, we've been together 53 years, and, you know, we're both on the same page and all the rest of it, but he doesn't cater to me. He thinks maybe because he's lazy and doesn't want to be bothered with stuff or whatever, he lets me do whatever I want to do. And I like to be in control. So I do, you know, everything. So
how is the laziest man a trillionaire, though? How is he lazy and he's a trillionaire?
But see, that's his gift. You know,
that's his gift.
He really is amazing, you know, and he can tell you more about that. But I think when you're in a relationship and where you don't depend on someone else for your happiness, where you depend on yourself for your happiness and your fulfillment, you know, I do. Most people don't even think I have a partner, because I'm usually by myself or with a group, or at the farm, I'm by myself, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that's a power right there when you can. I mean, I've traveled in Europe by myself. I've done so many things. So anyway, it's just being true to yourself, knowing that you can take care of yourself, and not thinking that by being dependent on someone else, that doesn't give you power. That's a weak move right there.
That's the easy way out, though. That's the easy way out. I see a lot of people of my age, 35 and over, like, you know, that's what you're taught. Like, okay, as a woman, you worked hard your whole life. You need to go find you a man that you could depend on and that will take care of you. But that almost halts your own personal power. You're giving all your power to this other significant other. And it's crazy to hear another woman, which I get it because who you are, because you don't predicate what you do off of your partner. You love your partner, you respect what they do, but you have your own space. You know, you have your own personal power that allows you to get to certain places. But I think we live in a world where it's like women, I don't want to make this a women in a relationship thing, but that's what it's turned into. But I feel like, you know, a lot of women are predicated on like, okay, I'm a woman, I need to find me a man that takes care of me. And like, you've taken the whole different mindset of like, yeah, you want to be taken care of, but also, yes, you want to have your own and you want to be your own boss. And that shows you, you know, you have a 30,000 square foot and you bought the lot with your own money. You didn't need your husband's money to buy that. You bought it with your own shit. So, I mean, I wanted to talk about that because I'm about empowering people, and like, you're one of my biggest inspirations in the woman field, that you've done your own thing and like you're making huge moves. And I feel like more people need to know and understand. No, I don't say understand, overstand who you are and what you're doing. Because if you're on here, the people that are on here right now, this is probably the biggest woman boss in the world that you haven't heard of. You may in the next 90 days, she'll probably be the biggest in the world. And you'll be like, oh my God, Sarah Person Jack show. But you heard it first on my show. This is the biggest boss in the world. And her mindset isn't, okay, let me just find a man to allow me to, you know, let me predicate my power, my influence, and let my man handle it. You're more a person like, you're going to get yours no matter what. So do you allow Bob to be the boss? Well, think he's the boss, and you do your own thing. Like, what is your dynamic with Bob? Because he's I ain't gonna lie, Bob is the craziest motherfucker I've ever talked to in my life. He's the smartest, but he says the wildest shit that I've ever heard. How do you deal with that, and how do you get that balance of, because you want to be your own trillionaire? Like, how do you deal with that balance? How does that happen?
Well, you know, especially when Ion came around, I was working on my magnesium product, and Ion wanted to work on
Carolyn, we call him Dickie Dobbs. Dickie Dobbs wanted to work on some other stuff. Yeah. So I, you know, eventually I said, look, I just want to work on the dietary formulas. I'm a doctor. I can do that. So this company, New Capstone RNA Reset, is 100% mine. Mine, shit. Wait. Yes, sir. You 100% of that?
Yeah.
I thought you was part of a Bob.
No.
Oh no! Fuck that! No. You're 100% of that shit. God damn, you doing like $5 million a month. So you killing it, Carolyn. You killed it. Like, can I hold some? Can I send me a couple dollars, Carolyn? I know you're doing a couple million a month. You know, you on 100%. Like, what do you need for? But that's the power of you believing in self and not putting your personal beliefs and your knowledge and your belief system on someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy, because I feel like, and this has nothing to do with women, men, but I feel like we live in a world where the frequency is the man does this and the woman comes along to be the man's partner and assist him on whatever he does. But that's not really.
You got to put this into the equation too. Children. Yeah. Children. You know, men can't have children yet. So women, I didn't want to have biologicals, but we have foster children. So, you know, again, I had the best of both worlds, you know, being able to have the experience, but, and they weren't kids when we got them. Yeah. They were already 16.
Damn.
A boy.
Crazy. 16.
Yeah, they were grown. They were already there. And they are great kids, boy and girl twin. So we had the family experience. But, you know, when you talk about women who want to get a man to be responsible, I mean, that is them probably wanting to create their nest, have their children, and understandably want to have someone who's going to respect that and support that, because the women who are trying to do it all, that's why I thought, I'm not going to have kids because I want to have a career. I've got the great work ahead of me, so I can't do both.
Yeah.
And in my practice up in Toronto, when chronic fatigue first started in the 80s, the late 80s, I'd see these women just getting run down with their jobs and their kids, and it was just so much pressure. So there's that in the equation too, where women are being made to think they can do it all, and it just totally stresses them out.
Yeah. So okay, I know we on for a minute. So I got a couple more questions. Like I said, I know you're probably mixing a formula, talking to your team about, you know, the next product that's coming out. And I got to ask you one question before we get out of here. Well, actually, it's two questions. The first question is, would you bet your bottom dollar, would you bet $5 million at a Bob's Trillion that there's no nutritional value in the food that we're eating today?
Absolutely.
You would bet it. You would bet that $5 million right now. There's no nutritional value in what we're eating. Okay. And then my second question is, if there's no nutritional value in the food that we eat, why is the FDA stopping you from giving people the complete formulas that they're missing?
They've got some deal with the devil. They really do.
Yeah.
You know that $1 billion I told you about that's required to do a big pharma study?
Oh, wait. Let's go back to that. So Big Pharma has a thing that says you got to pay us $1 billion to do a study.
Big Pharma puts out the money to do a study. And to do a study the way the FDA wants it, it costs $1 billion. But part of that $1 billion goes to the FDA.
Oh,
seriously.
Of course it does.
Seriously. So, I mean, what is that? What, payoff, bribery? I mean, what? So they are hand in glove in this business of creating drugs. And if some, you know, little person like myself comes along and has a $30 product that's going to help your immune system and you don't need a drug or whatever. I mean, I'm a serious danger to
for sure.
Big Pharma and the FDA.
Just like I'm a serious danger to all these other brands. Nike, Jordan, man, I like these teams, but like, we're serious dangers. But the thing is, Carolyn, is that you're a person that, you know, you don't have, you know, 100,000 employees. You don't need all these people to push this and marketing and all that. You do your own marketing. You know, you have a group of collective people that you trust that do it. And then now all of a sudden they see the most powerful people on your products. Like, oh, wait, why are they messing with Carolyn? Why are they dealing with her? You know what? Red flag. Hey, you can't do this because so-and-so said this. But that's so fucked up in the world that we live in. And it shows you that the world that we live in is predicated on the people at the top. And the people at the top only get their power from the people that are underneath them that say, oh, I gotta give my power. I can't do what I do because that person is the one. You don't take that mindset. You say you're the one. Yeah. And look at what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah. But the other thing is, I mean, you've heard Dick Dobbs say that I'm saving Big Pharma because I never say to people, stop your drugs.
You never say it. That's what I will say. You've never said, don't take that. I will say that 100%.
Keep taking your drugs. They may even work better. But down the line, you may not need them. So why should you take a drug that you don't need? So that's my philosophy.
That's how I feel about Big Pharma. That's how I feel about them. Sorry. No, that's
you know,
that's crazy.
One thing, I know we're winding down,
Yep.
but a while ago I wanted to say something about, you know, you make me out to be this great, you know, whatever. But I'm also the doctor that wrote the book called Death by Modern Medicine.
Where can we find that book? Where can we get the book? Carolyn, I forgot to tell you. Fuck, I think I never told you this story. So I remember when I was telling my parents and my dad about you, and I was like, yo, Dad, like I was just in Hawaii visiting Bob and Carolyn. You know, they gave me and my beautiful girlfriend Jermaine their second house on the golf course. I always got to pump you up because it is the second house on the golf course. There's not too many people that have two houses on the golf course. We had the second house on the golf course. We were there for several months. Well, 1 month. I always gas it up. A couple months. Like 1.5. And I was like, her name's Carolyn Dean. He wrote a book on Megan. My dad goes, what, Carolyn Dean? Like, what do you mean, like the Carolyn Dean? Like, did she write a book? He said, oh, I read her book. I said, yeah. She said, what? You were with her? And it's like, my dad had read your book.
Wow.
Before I even knew like that, you know what I mean? My dad told me that he read your book. And it's pretty crazy. And I always talk about alignment and I talk about like synergy and all these frequencies. And it's like, it was only right that you and I get on this live because you're next up. I'm next up.
Yeah.
We're the new education. We're the new. And shout out to all the people that have been on this live right now that have tuned in. I love you all. I love Jermaine the most. But I want to say, Carolyn, thank you so much for joining my live because I cannot wait. I cannot wait till the article comes out and says Dr. Carolyn Dean has run the world. And you've seen it first on my IG live podcast, Step Back with Jack. Carolyn, you know you're always welcome. And I know I'm always welcome because I would text you at 2 a.m. Yo, Carolyn, my throat feel crazy. You know what, Jack? Take Pico Silver every hour, drink some tea, and boom, boom, boom. It's like, and I'm super I have to say that I'm super thankful that I can send you a text at 2 a.m. Mind you, it's, you know, if I feel it, it's 2 a.m. I'm like, she'll probably see it the next day. But next time, it's like, you're giving me the information right away, and I appreciate that because we need more like you because you care about the being of others. A lot of times, you know, people are in the position of power. It's like they care about the moolah, how much money they can make. You got the money. It's not about the money for you. It's more because we're taught it's like, you know, it's not about the money. The money is there. They print money every day. When you're in your power, you got the money. You know what I mean? It's just more about the being thankful and the attitude of gratitude. And that's what I've learned a lot from you and Bob and our brother Dickie Dobbs is that I just want to say that I appreciate you. And I can't wait to the day that you get your due diligence of what the impact that you're making on the world. And we're going to close this out with that, Carolyn. And once again, thank you so much for coming on. You know, we'll have you, not this next Friday, which we're going to have your crazy husband, but the Friday after next. Oh, somebody said Omni Sky said, building the products for 5 years. Jeez! 5 years, Carolyn. Like, Carolyn, you popping in these streets. You are fucking popping. Next time we get on next Friday, I'm giving you some clothes so you can wear my shit. I love your outfit, but I'm gonna give you. What do you like? You like the low cut? What you like? Hood? What do you want? What's your purple? It's purple, right?
Purple.
Purple. Cool. We'll talk. Carolyn, thank you so much for coming on the Step Back with Jack podcast. You're the best doctor in the world. You're the best person in the world. Over and out. Hey, okay. When I put this song on, you have to dance. You have to dance when the song comes on. Are you ready? Ready? All right, we out. Thank you, Carolyn, so much. We'll see you in 2 Fridays. We love you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Everybody, That was the okay. Let me just say this real fast. I lost my breath doing the dance. Yes, sir. That's the biggest doctor in the whole entire world, right? And I'm not sitting here just saying that because she was on my live or whatever. That's literally the top dog in this game right now. So I want to say thank you to everybody that joined. She'll be back on from 2 Fridays from now. Hopefully you're still here. And I hope you soaked in the knowledge that was given. You know, I get on this and I do these things because I want all the dreamers in the world to know about this knowledge. I'm an active dreamer. That's my company's Active Dreamers. You know what I'm saying? Like you see this logo right here. You see that Nike logo. And Nike ain't putting, you know what I mean? I didn't print this on here. Nike did this. So I just want to say thank you for everybody for coming on. I'm about to go get me another bottle of wine. This Copala. Yeah. Y'all want to hear my song? Let me put a song on for y'all. I'm gonna let y'all hear my song real fast. You know what? I don't even have it on the computer because it's not on here. I would let y'all G, why are you calling right now? I'm doing something. So, thank everybody for coming on. We back next Friday. And I love y'all. I don't really love y'all. I love y'all. I do kind of, but I don't know all y'all. But thank you so much. Over and out. Step Back with Jack podcast. Let's get it.
Wow.
Stop. You know what time it is. You know who it is.
Friday.
Jermaine keeps calling me right now. Babe, you know I'm on the show. Why are you calling me?
Babe, he's on the show, babe.
Trying to
He's
FaceTime
live.
home. Trying to FaceTime him. Why she FaceTime me? She see I'm on the show.
You should go live with her and tell her.
The biggest live in the fucking world. The biggest show that you've ever seen that you ain't never seen.
Hello.
Oh, shit.
Yo, that was really
why my charger was in my candle. I'm gonna show y'all something that my baby got me for my birthday. Whole time
Yo, are you wavy?
Well, now I'm wavy. I'm gravy. So my charger was in my wax. Jermaine got me this for my birthday.
Yo, you should do a behind the scenes of what your studio looks like.
Okay. Why you grab the nose though? Why you grab the nose out of there? All right, get y'all a little behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Let me get the people. Turn my mic. All right, y'all. So this is a little in-home studio. I've been home for a little bit. You know what I mean? Take care of the family. I'm going back to the West Coast in about
you gotta let people know. You gotta let people know what's home.
This is home right here. You know, we got the nice chair right here. We got the nice soundboard. We got the nice candle. We got the nice little ring light. I got the big boy lights, the crib. We got the nice wall right here. This is the wall of fame right here. You know what I mean? This is big boy shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all I see a lot of Instagram people talking about they did this and did that on basketball. Y'all ain't did shit I did. All right, I'm sorry to not say it like that, but let me turn it around. Sorry, you know what I mean? All
Your
academic,
setup is pretty legit.
all academic, all ACC. Pops was a boss. Pops got his jersey retired. West Virginia Tech. You know, you see him slamming. Number 33. My sister was a track star at Georgia Tech. Big medals. Big winners at Penn Relays. You go over here, you know what I'm saying? You got this right here. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about the inspiration, right? If I came from nothing, and when I say nothing, I don't mean like I came from the slums. I mean, I came from no scholarships, nobody fucking with me, but I believed in myself more than no one else. And then I accomplished crazy shit. You know, I accomplished the wildest shit. And that's it. So we're going to leave it at that. What is it? Dice que se pasa a mí?
Dice que decirle que se pasa, that you're like you're doing too much, bruh. That's what that means.
Tell Jermaine to stop playing with me, dog. You see people saying amen on my shit. Tell Jermaine to stop playing with me.
I'm not gonna lie, that wall looks pretty dope.
Pretty dope. I appreciate that.
I mean,
how do I say stop playing with me in Spanish?
Para de jugar conmigo.
You said that too fast. Just slow it down.
Para.
Slow it down. Para. De jugar. Is that the same word or a different word?
Jugar. No, it's separate words. Jugar means play.
Para. De
jugar. Conmigo.
Para te quedar conmigo.
No, para de jugar conmigo.
Para jugar conmigo.
You're getting close.
That's tough. All right, yeah, we out. We Step Back with Jack podcast.
All right, bro.
Dr. Carolyn Dean. All right, peace out, Nadia.
Bye.
Bye.